What if I told you that one of the most dangerous things you could do in the 1800s was laundry? Not war, not wolves, not bandits. Laundry, a chore, so brutal, so relentless that it claimed skin, strength, and sometimes even lives. Tonight we're stepping into the icy kitchens and frozen backyards of the 19th century to uncover what it truly meant to face wash day in the dead of winter. Forget the romantic image of pioneer life. This was a battle against physics, frost, and fatigue, and most of the time, dirt still won. So dim your lights, lean back, and let's time travel into the harshest of domestic battlegrounds, where the enemy was mud, soap was poison, and survival meant having knuckles left at the end of the day. The morning shock. It's still dark when you wake, not because you want to, but because laundry day doesn't wait. The house sits at 14 degrees Fahrenheit. That's colder than the inside of your fridge. You pull on a shawl, tug on damp mittens, and brace for a day that will demand everything from your body. There's no electricity, no heater humming in the corner. Your feet hit the wooden floor, and it feels like stepping onto ice. The shutters rattle with each gust of wind. And before you've even eaten, before you've even stretched, you're staring down a pile of laundry that looks more like a punishment than a task. The battle for water laundry meant water, and water meant work. Buckets upon buckets, tubs for soaking, pots for boiling, basins for rinsing. So you trek to the well, dragging a stiff rope that screeches in protest. The pulley wheel is frozen, your fingers already ache, and when the bucket finally splashes down into the slushy water, hauling it back up feels like pulling the ocean itself out of the ground. One bucket, then another, then another. By the time you've carried 6 loads of freezing water back to the house, your shoulders are burning, your hands are numb, and the day hasn't even truly started. Inside, the fire in the stove struggles awake. It will take an hour just to get the first vat boiling. You know this won't be enough. Laundry is not a sprint, it's a marathon. The soap, a toxic companion. The soap isn't something bought from a store, it's homemade, and it's terrifying. A mixture of rendered pig fat and lye scraped from fireplace ash. One wrong move while making it, and you'd end up with chemical burns instead of cleaning solution. It doesn't foam, it doesn't smell fresh. It reeks like rancid grease and ash. Drop a chunk into hot water and it fizzes like acid. Too little and the stains win. Too much and your clothes dissolve. Your skin too. Every swipe of this soap strips not just dirt but layers of your own hands. By midwinter, many women had fingers cracked to bleeding, nails chipped away, palms like sandpaper. The washing ordeal, now the work begins. You dunk a wool skirt into the steaming vat, the heat slapping your face with damp air. The washboard is waiting, tin ridges sharp enough to shred cloth and flesh alike. Scrub, 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 your breath fogs the air. Your knuckles bleed. You aren't removing stains, you're grinding them in. The weight of wet fabric is its own torment. An underskirt feels like wrestling a dead horse. A blanket, that's a drowning body in your arms. Every ring, every twist demands muscle you don't have. Women fainted doing this. Some slipped on wet floors, cracking bones. And still, the pile never seemed to shrink. Hours pass. You no longer think. You move like a machine. Hands mechanical, eyes glazed. This is survival through repetition. The drying nightmare outside. A line waits, sagging under ice. The wind claws at you, snapping clothes like sails. Wooden pins splinter in your hands. Your breath freezes in midair. The garments stiffen almost instantly, frozen into eerie human shapes. Shirts crackle when you touch them. Socks turn into icy clubs. Bring them inside, and the nightmare changes shape. Steam fills the house. The air grows heavy, humid, sticky. Windows weep. Bread molds overnight. Wallpaper curls from the walls. Mildew creeps in like an invisible invader. There is no victory, only delay. The human cost, the toll was immense. Injuries, split knuckles, swollen joints, chilblains from alternating scalding and freezing water. Many women developed arthritis young. Exhaustion. A day of laundry left you trembling, shoulders screaming, legs barely holding you up. Mental strain. Imagine repeating this every week, with no break. Historians debate whether it drove women into quiet depression or forged them into steel. Likely, it was both. The oddities of laundry, every item brought its own misery. Linens, massive, waterlogged beasts. Socks, malicious little tubes that seemed to multiply. Wool coats, unyielding monsters of mud and odor. Underwear, delicate but demanding. The invisible work starch one mistake and your collars became weapons. Each garment was an enemy with its own tricks. The children and the community. Sometimes, women washed together, trading gossip, laughter, and complaints. Misery, after all, is lighter when shared. Children, too, were part of the chaos. Boys hauled water, girls scrubbed. Many simply made more mess, restaining shirts with mud or turning linens into forts. Yet through this, survival skills passed down. Laundry wasn't just cleaning, it was teaching how to endure. Machines that failed by the mid-1800s, crude washing machines appeared, wooden drums, hand-cranked, unreliable. They froze, they broke, they mangled clothes. Some women still pre-washed by hand before using them, defeating the purpose. For many, the machine was just another burden. Real relief wouldn't come until the 20th century. Sick laundry. When illness swept through a household, the work became even darker. Fever-soaked sheets, sweat-stained garments. Laundry became an act of desperation, trying to banish disease with boiling water and harsh soap. Some even buried clothes in snow, believing it would draw sickness out. But in truth, this was less about hygiene, more about the illusion of control. Small victories. And yet, there were moments. A stain finally scrubbed out, a child's fever breaking, the first whiff of cloth that didn't stink of mildew. These small victories kept women moving forward. Because the truth is, laundry wasn't just about clothes. It was about resilience, about fighting back against a world that never gave you rest. The resilience of survival. So here we are. Your hands are wrecked. Your body aches. But the laundry is folded, mostly dry, mostly clean. And for one fleeting evening, there is peace. Laundry in the 1800s wasn't about neatness, it was about survival. It was about looking dirt, disease, and despair in the eye and saying, not today. So the next time you press a button on your washing machine, remember, once upon a time, this was a battle that could break you. And the people who fought it, they were stronger than we can imagine.